Saints fans. Jeez. Blew that one. Just busted a foofer valve in that last quarter, and we were nowhere to be seen. It's going to be, I think, a fiery episode of the podcast. I reckon this first 15 minutes is going to be red hot. And a lot to be said. And we've been fired up by a bunch of Carlton supporters as well who've decided to send in their kind words. And we're feeling pretty crap. We're feeling crap. Marshy hasn't had a wink of sleep, thanks to the footy. Jake's been dealing with hate mail all night.
Jake's hate mail. Oh, can we do some mean tweets?
Mean tweets. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
I can try and find some. But I deleted most.
Fair enough.
All right, regardless, let's do it the way we usually do it. Jake,
cheers,
how are you?
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm still in shock because at halftime I thought, okay, it wasn't perfect, but bloody hell, we had there was a blueprint. There was something there that I was like, okay, we're trying to exploit. We're trying to exploit something about Carlton.
Yeah,
and it clearly worked because I thought we were pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
I thought we could have been further ahead. The Butler. No, holding the ball. I mean, he did look like he got a hand onto it in the end in super slow-mo.
Yeah.
But
he got one exactly the same in the first quarter.
They got one again.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't see that coming. That's the first time this year where a quarter came and we played the way we did, and I was flabbergasted by it. There was no signs of that.
No.
Like a complete halt.
We were baggergasted. That's what we were. Wasn't flabbergasted.
Mate, there's many puns we can go with today, but I'm trying to hold fire.
Yeah. Marshy.
Yeah.
Oh, yip, lads and listeners.
That's the flattest yip I've heard.
Yeah. Because that's it. I felt so... I was in a mood today. I was just in the most feral mood. Like, because Saney boys off air. I'll get home and, just like ping at like 4:30 in the morning or something. I just wake up and I'm just thinking about the game. So I'm just seething. And
just a cold sweat.
There's no amount of brown noise in the world that could just get you back to sleep. So
brown noise?
It's like the sort of like the white noise.
I was going to say brown noise is something different, mate. That's the real low note that'll make you void you.
Well, we'll play in the brown noise in our fourth quarter when we shit our pants. Yeah, definitely. So anyway,
no. That song is... I don't know.
No,
help me.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's just like this specific note. It's in South Park,
Yeah, so the brown note is a specific note that apparently they've done it on Mythbusters, and it's total myth, but apparently the frequency is so low that it gets through your gut and it makes you void your bowels. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just sitting there.
Kind of wish that happened.
Oh, mate. I'm just sitting there seething until like 6:30, and I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. And then it's just
the same.
It's just the same. It's just you're just sitting there thinking about the what ifs. You're like, if we had won it, or halfway to finals, we're halfway there, but nah. And just all the media is just Carlton. How good are they? Like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh my god, I couldn't believe the you know how they do the bloody ratings for your performance for the round.
Oh yeah.
They gave us a B-. They gave Carlton an A+, and I'm like, I don't know. They played well they played well when it counted. But
I think where the plus would come from is that we really put it to them. You know, we really challenged the in-form side of the competition. And if we won based on form, it's an upset. So that's where maybe the B- comes about. And the first half was so good, but I don't know where it's come from. But internally, they've just made some really good calls. And on the weekend, that's what it came down to. They made some really great calls at halftime to change what they were going to do. And we made some really bad ones because we were expecting something different.
Yeah, we're not here to stroke Carlton.
No. But that's where I was going to say, leading into the bad calls.
Which one was it, Joycey? Because I ranted about it in the review. And you mentioned it this morning.
Oh, the Machito Owens getting taken out of the midfield and put at half forward because Filippo got subbed off.
That's another thing I want to raise.
Yeah.
I don't think Stocker was the right choice as the sub.
No, because
I don't think
early
it
in the
worked.
game when I heard that it was announced, and I was just sort of going from like the emotional viewpoint of like, yeah, that makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would come in, and it absolutely wasn't the right call because it just you bring on a back pocket.
Yeah.
Like it's not as if he was playing in the midfield. Yeah, like. Were we playing him in different positions?
No,
he was
back
a
pocket.
rebound 50 player.
Yeah.
That was what his
So
job
did he
was.
go back to allow Sinclair to go in the middle?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so it just doesn't make sense that that we just don't carry on in the third quarter how we finish the second.
Yeah.
Like that the same lineup or just what was working is if you don't keep going with that. And
Yeah.
just to tinker it and it was just
And we played the wings so well. Like, that's partly why Mason would... And I just want to quickly say, yes, he had 11 turnovers, but he had 36 possessions, 14 marks. And from where I was sitting, there was... Like, I saw, I reckon, firsthand 3 or 4 of those turnovers on that wing on the far side that I was on. But a lot of the time, he had chased, hassled, tackled, and then got the ball and then stuffed it. And I'm like... People will remember the mistake. I know people are going to be fuming, and it was hard to to read the comments.
He's one of those blokes
definitely.
where it won't happen next week.
Yeah.
He'll have another good game next week, and it won't happen. He'll
Did you
learn.
see his interview after the game?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was great.
I didn't actually.
That's
I need
captain
to.
material. Like, honestly, some people actually think he's a Smokey next year.
For Skipper.
Yeah. I'm like, it's a bit
I think that's a bit odd, but leadership group, I'd say yes, because his preparation off field and the way he goes about it on field is second to none. So he's been one of our better players this year. But just going back to the Stocker move and everything like that, and you were talking about working the wings.
Yeah.
And we worked the wings so well.
Incredibly well.
In that first half. And I was sitting, we were sitting behind the goals on level 2, my dad and I, and Carlton changed it up. They put Curnow deep forward, they put DeConing deep forward, Curnow up, but everyone was lining up in the middle of the 50, and Dad was like, watch them take on the corridor.
Yeah.
But the problem was, the corridor's fine. We closed down corridor by our zone. Our zone closes down the corridor.
Yeah.
But we went to man on man. And we made a mistake. We needed to go back to zone. But we also got sucked into using the corridor, which was a horrible idea because they were set up for it.
Yeah.
We got sucked in to trying to use it.
We were so constipated in that second half.
Right, but it's because we weren't using the wings to our advantage.
Yeah.
But we ran out of legs. No one was leading.
Did we spend too much fuel? Because that second quarter was immense in terms of even the first quarter as well. The amount of pressure that we were applying, and was that just not sustainable?
Potentially, and that's probably what they saw.
Yeah, and King, he should not have played.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
reckon.
he should not have played
Nah.
because that last quarter, and Ross in the press has said that he wasn't injured. He's fine.
He spent about 15 minutes off the ground.
50% game time on the bench.
Yeah.
And didn't get a touch. He wasn't alone there, disappointingly. But, you know, it again flies in the face. And it was a little bit of arrogance, sort of harking back to Ross Lyon saying Max King doesn't do twos. We've given Tim Membry a bloody 7-week mini pre-season. He's rock hard fit. Let him play.
If Kingy had kicked that goal before 3/4 time, he would have had 3 to his name. That's a tick,
And it would have been a different game.
Isn't that a tick, though?
The
You
fact
wouldn't
that
have been happy with 3?
Nah. If he all right, he kicks that goal, but he still produces what he did in that last quarter,
Yep,
then
still not
absolutely
happy.
not. Definitely not.
Even
Because-
if we had have won?
well, that's different.
Is it though?
Well, absolutely it is because
Well,
that
but
masks the
that's
other
just-
cracks. Because no, like what I'm saying is that King just clearly wasn't fit, so he's not playing. Caminiti played 87% of the game or thereabouts. Okay, he's 19, and King's put his hand up, say I'm right to play. I don't do twos. Put me in there, and you expect him to be more of a leader than Caminiti. You expect to see him running up, providing an option. When he was on the ground, he just stood there because he was buggered.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe the reason why he was off the ground was that because Ross knows that pressure's not his game, so take him off. Then we press, and then when the game opens up, then you can have him for that long target. I don't know, but I see your point. But if he had to kick 3 and we win and that last quarter happens, then we're probably not mentioning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. It is
Well,
semi-result based.
Yeah.
That criticism.
It is a bit, but at the same time,
I
it is
get
what it
you.
is. Like,
Totally get you. I think the biggest issue though, it's not King in that last quarter.
Oh, no.
It's
No.
the bloody skipper. Okay,
Oh,
I
Yeah.
hate doing this. I hate doing. It wasn't just the last quarter though. He had 11 up till that point.
Yeah.
That was already bad.
Yeah.
But it went to worse. Where the hell was he?
He
Yeah.
got
Where was he?
-2 fantasy points.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Oh, it's definitely a
This
record
is a
for
guy
him.
this is a guy that for 3 years was top 5 for the Brownlow.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, well, there was a big point, and he got really exposed. He got really exposed on the weekend, and this is where we were talking about earlier, where Machito got taken out of the midfield. We dominated with him in the midfield.
Crouch was a man possessed with Machito.
He loved being the outside man, did Crouch, and he
Yeah.
got his goal, and he was on fire, had 22 in the first half, and he was laying tackles. He loves being the outside receiver and setting up play. But unfortunately, when we took Owens out there, no one wanted to stand up and go and hunt the ball. And they just monstered us. They made us look stupid.
Yeah, well, Ross said that he tried to put Sinks through there, it didn't work. He tried to put Windy through there as well.
Nah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah.
And Gresh, and it didn't work.
They're all smaller players. And as much as and what I don't like about him saying, we tried to put Windhager through there, they've been, I don't understand, and whether it works out or not over next year is going to be the thing. Windhager's had the second year blues.
Yeah.
He's had the second year blues bad because they've tried to change his game style. They've taken his flair, and this is what happens with a lot of players. They take their flair and they mould them. Whereas I don't think Windhager was one
To mould.
to mould. I think
Let
you
him
got to
be.
let him be, because he did some really, really special things in his first year, like the little tap between the legs and all of this stuff and
Yeah.
whatnot. I think there's room, and not only that, the kid's obsessive. We saw his preseason, how much hard work he was doing in his preseason. He didn't leave the club for the whole year. He just stuck around and went to training, and that was him. But when you're dealing with a kid that's so obsessive about his football, he takes everything very heavily.
He's very coachable.
He is very coachable. Well said. So coachable.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He will focus way too much now on his defensive side of his footy and lose his flair for his offensive side.
Have we done that to Steele?
I don't.
Or was
no-
he always that defensive?
Yeah, I think it's partially part of it, because you look at Steele under Rats and how much of an attacking player he was and how beautiful he was to watch, and then you go back to Owen Richardson, who had him as a defensive player and a tagger, and he did play his best football under the 3 seasons he was under Brett Ratton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and now we're seeing it. Machito's got license, which I love. I love that he's got license because he works hard both ways and it's just clicked for him. He knows that's his thing.
Yep.
But it's just, it's messy at the moment. I'm keen for next year to see if it shapes up or not, because that's what happened with Ross Lyon in 07. We just missed finals, and then 08 we finished 4th. We had pretty much the same list. In 07, we said goodbye to a couple of older players, which will happen at the end of this year. We will say goodbye to players like, I think, when Ross came in off the bat, Thompson.
Basically, G Train was done.
G Train
Lee
was he
Fisher?
came back a bit.
Yeah.
Lee Fisher,
Lee Fisher.
Brett Voss.
Yep.
Ozzie Jones. These players all started to go.
Hudgeton, was he done by then?
Nah, Hudson wasn't done by then. He
Oh, no, he played
retired
09. He was in
09 the
09.
day after the grand
Yeah,
final because he
correct.
wasn't
Yep.
selected.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, we're going to see a changing of the guard at the end of this year, and there will be some surprises in there. But I just think it's at this messy stage at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And I was really disappointed in hindsight that Billings would have been the perfect sub for
wouldn't he?
yesterday.
Yeah.
He would have been perfect for what we needed at that point in time because, all right, even though Stocker allows Sinclair to go in the middle, whatever, our problem was that connection.
Yeah.
As much as it was getting it out of the midfield, that was a big problem, obviously.
Yeah.
But we had nothing going forward.
No.
And Billings is the type of player that you've said it before, fellas, and he he's a smart footballer. He gets himself in the right position. So I think that he would have added a bit of an offensive flair to. That's what you crave, especially if it's a tactical one.
Yeah.
You lose Filippo, you replace that flair with a little bit more flair
and similar position.
Similar position, that's right.
But he's also a calming presence when he has the footy.
Exactly. Like we were just, when Carlton came at us, we've seen what the Saints can throw at us from a physical perspective. Let's just hold on to the ball and just try and walk through a few of them, break a few tackles, and they did. And then they were just a bit more methodical with their ball movement, and that's when we folded like a deck of cards. We're just we're throwing it at them. This isn't working. Yeah. What do we do?
We that's as big a crumble as I've seen in a last quarter that we've played.
Yeah, it has.
I'm trying to think of another game where we were ahead and we just completely...
Oh, the Hawthorn game, we switched off in that last 10 minutes.
Last 10 minutes, that was similar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it happened so quick.
Yes, yeah.
But one of the positives though, this is annoying the Carlton. This annoyed the Carlton people. Sardi gets the woof woof.
Yeah.
We do that for Nasai henceforth from yesterday. Every time he gets a kick, we'll woof him.
Yeah.
And and there's just all these salty Carlton people. You didn't hear from them for 3 quarters, Carlton supporters. And then as soon as there was like a sniff of like a 50 opportunity, they're all screaming like banshees. And then, they get on their roll. And it wasn't until they're actually in front, they're getting up and about.
Yeah.
But we were here for 3 quarters. They're soft. And they've won the game, and they're just then they come down and they're they start giving us shit. It's
I know, go and enjoy it. Go watch the replay.
Enjoy it, I could not be less interested when the Saints are up and about in giving the opposition shit, because I'm too busy enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah.
And Carlton, they're just ferals, mate.
I was talking to Jake before about this bravado that they have, because they're bred into it. These you look at someone like our dad's Saints supporters and everything like that. They've been through shit.
Yeah.
And we are just so humble about being Sainers, whereas the dads and the mums that have been through Carlton, they've seen the 60s and 70s and 80s and, up to 95, where they were a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They were winning premierships every second year, or making grand finals. They were just the powerhouse of the competition. So they had that bravado about them, being like, we are big Carlton supporters. From our generation,
they're shit.
Shut the F up.
Absolutely.
It's the same as what we feel.
They've been worse than us.
Easily. Easily. Like their flag in 95. Well, they cheated. So
they cheated for their flag in 95.
Said that a few times.
I just like to put that out there. Yeah. And we don't spit on our players. I don't think all our drudgery, we have never done the over the tunnel spitting on players.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
They do it 5 yearly.
Yeah.
So they're doing it earlier this year, and then you got stupid snapper calling up SEN or whatever radio stations, carrying on like a pork chop.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Just relax,
whatever.
I don't know.
Haven't seen
Carlton supporters, they just do my head in.
I can tell, mate. I can tell.
But thanks for the cash.
Yeah, thanks for the cash.
Yeah,
thanks for the cash, guys.
Still annoyed. It was 42,000's nice, but still so many people missed out, and
it was good turnout from the Saints, though.
From the Saints,
it was a very good turnout from the Saints. I thought that we were just going to get overrun by the Blue Cowboys, but I think a lot of Sainers turned up.
Yeah, where I was sitting, it was all Sainers, up level 3 reserve.
Nice.
A few little Carlton people trickled in, sprinkled through, but majority was Sainers. So,
Yep, so a good crowd. Well done, Saints, for getting down.
I forgot to mention, I was that upset after that.
I could tell in your review.
You're a man of the people.
This was the first time where I actually was almost borderline in tears because it felt so relentless, and then you feel so helpless. You can't do shit. You're just watching it.
Yeah.
And then Akers did what he did, and I'm like, I was shaking. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Jake's looked like he's been pulled from a river.
I'm shaking. I'm like, I got to do a review. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm in a glass case of emotion here. I'm about to implode. And then I stick around after the siren. My sister comes down. That she was sitting just above us with her mates, and then they go. I was literally there wanting to do the review at Marvel. I'm like, I just got to do it now on my own up the top. I told the security guard, he's like, no worries, mate, just keep it 5 minutes and you're right. Yeah. It's like, no worries, I go up top. And then I'm 2.5 minutes in and another security guard comes and he goes, oi, get out of here. And I'm like, oh no, I'm yelling from 50 rows away. I'm like, oh, I told that guy over there. He's like, he's new. He doesn't know. You got to get out. And I'm like, well, this can't get any fucking worse, can it? Just let me do I actually pulled I do this for the football club. Do you mind?
I've got a media pass.
I actually
last week.
I should have brought it, to be honest. I'm like, I'm bloody Ross Lyon's son. Just let me be. Didn't work out. Go to do the car and then it just got worse because Carlton fans tune in as well. They tuned in. They loved it. I had someone just tag me before. She's got me on the tally at home. She's a Carlton mum. Like, relax. You don't need me on the tally, okay? Just what are they doing? What do you get out of it?
Nah.
Apart from, unrivaled enjoyment.
They are flat track bullies.
But anyway.
We got what we deserved, though, in the end. So I think the first quarter, you were saying off air, Joycey, that the score flattered us a bit. They were a bit wasteful, and so were we. We just didn't. We had a few kicks where Weeders just mopped it up. Yeah, and so we probably should have converted that onto the scoreboard. But I think by and large, we got away with in the first quarter. And
we did. But what I actually liked was there were some passages out of half back that I thought we transitioned very well. That part where I think it was
that's what
we
killed
kicked
him
it long to Rowe. Or was it Sharm and clunks it, kicks it long to Rowe, clunks it, handballs to Steele, kicks it perfectly when no one but Max King had to mark it, and then he slots it. I'm like, that's 4 kicks. Carlton didn't touch it.
You know that classic Vince McMahon meme where it's that was me in my seat. By the end of it, I was just lying there. I was nearly horizontal in my chair, and Joe's cuddling me from behind.
And that was the first goal when Rowe marked it and kicked it. It was the same thing. We utilised leading players and our talls.
And is it time to give Marshall a bloody chop out in the ruck?
They played 2 rucks.
Yeah, and the bloke spent.
He got outworked, man.
And you could only imagine if he's splitting his time 30% up forward. We're so much more potent when he's up there. The bloke just doesn't drop the ball.
How good is he now with his hands? His hands have improved tenfold.
The way the hands were just... You just see his hands just reach out from the pack. You just see these beautiful little jukes just go... And he just gets it, one grab, and then... But, that's why Jack Hayes... If it wasn't Membry, I wanted Jack Hayes in the team because he's our only genuine second ruck forward.
I'd imagine Membry will play against Richmond. He had 20 and kicked 4 and 15 marks.
That's good to see.
But Isaac Keeler kicked 3 and had 15. He's quietly doing some very nice things.
That's Sandy. Yep. Membry kicked 4.
Vital had 35.
How shit of the Ballants just quietly.
Yeah, I was going to say, the poor Ballants.
So, I guess you don't read much into it, but...
But it is good that they got a bit of form.
99-point win.
There
you go.
Yeah, but there was just
Wilkie did an excellent job on...
Credit to Wilkie.
I was going to say, everyone was saying, Mason Wood, best on ground. I was
Definitely
Wilkie. But Akers was on the other wing and he was probably best on ground and got a couple of goals, which was really vital. And that's maybe what we needed to see from Wood. He did some great defensive work, but, he didn't have his typical Wood couple of goals.
Because, Wood, and he should have got that from, the Butler one, where... Because the holding the ball should have been. It goes straight to Wood. But he stops, because everyone stops. But I wish he had just snapped it and got his goal.
I think it was Filippo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have it in front of us.
Yeah, I thought it was Wood. But anyway, so I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. But Mason, I think his game was that in a nutshell. Busted his ass off and did some nice things, but ultimately those 11 turnovers or whatever it was.
There were 2 goals in there, probably.
3
at least, but you turn at least half of that into the Wood magic, then that just sets us on a different trajectory.
And he'll watch a replay and go, geez, I had 10 more metres than I thought I did. I was out.
Yeah.
But it just would have been that little bit of fatigue where it was like, clear the area, clear the congestion. But he'll go back and watch it and be like, okay, well, now I actually have time to look because my player's doing the hard work and putting the Shepherds on.
Jimmy was excellent.
Jimmy was great. He had a good comeback.
Wood didn't even want the ball that many times, though. That's what I loved.
What's that?
Like, Wood.
Yeah.
In his post-game, he's like, if I'm getting the ball that much, I actually think we're not playing well.
Yeah.
That's what
There
he
you go.
said.
Yeah. Not
He
enough
said because
people
we're
to
not
get
using the
ball.
corridor enough.
Yeah, true.
So I love that he said that.
Well,
Because and that's again that second quarter, just like they just need to watch tape of that, the way that we just disrupted the Blues formation because we were changing the angles and we were using the wings, but when there was time to just go, just turn the eyes 45 degrees,
Just get that
we're
15.
doing it and we're just flicking it off and we're just connecting
And we're
nicely.
playing slow. We played like it felt fast.
It was
but
methodical.
We were happy
It
to
was.
go
It was
backwards
very
when we
methodical.
needed to.
Yeah.
There's a lead. Wait. There's a lead. Even Gresham, when he marked it 55 out, and everyone's screaming at him, "Do not take the shot."
Yeah.
He milked it and milked it and milked it, and then kicked it, and King marks it.
Yeah.
3/4 time
Yeah.
when he
That
missed it. But that was good from Gresh.
Yeah, that was a really good decision. But there was actually a part earlier in the game. I'll touch on something else I was going to say soon. But there was a part earlier in the game where Filippo took that mark and kicked the goal.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He burnt Gresh,
He did.
and Gresh wasn't a big fan of it.
But then Gresh burnt who?
Sharman, and
Exactly.
he missed.
He missed. That's
He missed.
right.
Whereas-
Sharman didn't crack the shits.
No.
He's like, fine, fair enough.
Gresh
You're
cracked
backing
it.
yourself, and Gresh did. And you hate seeing it.
Well, it just shows me that he hasn't understood that he's no good at taking set shots.
And
it
understood
shows-
that his teammate
Yeah.
is fucking capable of kicking those.
From like
is it-
10
Filippo
metres out straight in
knows
front.
that he's
Yeah.
gonna
That's
kick
what
that.
you that's what you scream for the youngest player in the competition.
Yeah.
To just confidently take the mark and go back.
And
I've
never
got
left
it.
missing.
I've got it.
Nah.
Yeah.
Beautiful set shot.
For the sake of a 15-metre pass.
Yes. Yeah.
What did he do?
Yeah,
And
and,
how
that's
many-
where you look at blokes like Ryan Myers from Geelong and you admire them so much because he'll take the right opportunities when he's 10 to 15 metres out.
Well, he's the number one score assist in the league, isn't he?
But that's because he knows he's no good from 40 metres out.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
will always try and hit a better target in a better spot. And we were doing that in the first half. Because Carlton were, and this was what I was going to touch on before, because Carlton were pressing so hard up the ground to try and lock the ball in their 50 and put us under pressure, we were managing to get it out the back and we're getting the kicks from where we wanted to get the kicks from.
Yeah.
And that's why we were kicking accurately. It was a Brett Ratton game. You know, that's what Rats had us doing in 2020, and we were getting all these shots from 15, 20 metres out straight in front because teams were letting us out the back.
Yeah.
And Carlton was letting us out the back, and that's where we got on top, but then they fixed it and put Wiedering back, and that's where where in the first quarter it would have been a goal, was kicking long, and all of a sudden there's deep defenders.
Yeah, there's
But
just nothing.
that's
yeah.
also part and parcel to the fact that Max King was stuffed.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get up the ground.
No.
So,
Yeah.
Because you're telling, like, Membry, he works.
Oh,
he's
so
up
bloody
and
hard.
down. So that would have given us that outlet. And like Caminiti, he was busting his ass off
Yeah.
doing that. And
Yeah.
I thought he had a really good game, sort of from a structure
Yeah,
point
he was
of view.
always where he needed to
Yeah.
be.
That's it.
But
Like,
unfortunately didn't get the goal on the board. He's always been good for one
didn't
or
get
two.
the goal, and he just wasn't quite sticking the marks either. But
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Sharman as well. How many speckies he tried again?
Oh, man.
Is he
Yeah.
going for the specky too much though now?
I wouldn't
There were
say,
times where I'm
I wouldn't
like,
say no
is,
because
he,
it's coming to
is he
ground.
putting it on?
I don't mind it
You don't mind
because
it? Every time.
as in it should make it predictable for our smalls or the people
Yeah.
at the pack.
Okay.
And that's
You know?
that's what Bulldogs built.
Sometimes
a
I
lot
wish
of
he
their
doesn't-
gameplay
Yeah,
on.
so
when
Norden just
the
flying for it.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
absolutely crazy at it. So I don't mind that. Like, it's great to have a half forward that goes crazy, berserk
He just
into
needs
a
to
pack.
start clunking them.
It'd be nice.
Oh, yeah. It'll come.
And it
Because
will
I mean,
come.
it came out the back so many times, and Carlton were just there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if he keeps his feet a bit better there. That at least he's there to put some pressure on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because our other forwards are going for it, and he's taking a specky over some of our other boys.
Yeah.
I'm like, one of you needs to stay down.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Sharman's
yeah.
the most mobile. Stay down.
But we've spoken about it, but how can you explain Crouch, Steele, and Hunter Clark having one possession
So-
between them for a whole
Yeah.
last quarter?
That is
how does that,
Fun
how does that
fact,
happen?
First 3 quarters,
Yeah.
Steele, Crouch, was it Clark and Butler? First 3 quarters, 73 disposals between them.
Yeah.
And some goals.
Yeah.
Last quarter combined, I think it was 1 disposal.
Yeah.
What the...
Clark, yeah.
What's going on there?
How does that happen? Because
Like, I'm not
was he off? Were they off the ground for extended periods? But
Nah.
they weren't. Like
It would-
Steele's like 75 or thereabouts, and Crouch's in the 80%.
It would have been
for that
harder.
quarter.
I just feel like it would be harder to avoid getting the ball.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
It's
you're
like
in the
it's
guts.
just as
How-
hard to win
So is
pace
that just
as rock as
highlight-
it is to lose. You
Is
know?
that just
Yeah.
highlighting that Blues just had the ball and we could not get near them?
Well, there's part
Yeah.
of that, but it's also at the contest where it's been our issue all year. We just don't deal with big bodies. We can't do it. And as soon as Hewitt and Cripps started to turn on, we disappeared because we're smaller. And
Yeah.
they just bullied us. And it's been our issue all year. As soon as people throw big bodies at us, we go down. And it's not by a lot, don't get me wrong. Like 19 points is not
No.
a big loss to Carlton. But it's where Port just got over us as well. Because their big body started
the
to play.
Powell Peppers, they
Yeah.
had Horn Francis.
Correct.
They started to get going, didn't
Yeah.
they?
And that's the
even
thing,
Hawthorn
this-
in a way with Newcomb.
Yeah, and
body.
the thing
Yeah.
is, like the saying in footy is, your smaller blokes will get tired and run out of legs. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll get
Yeah.
into that. Don't worry.
But your small,
Relax over there, computer.
yeah, your smaller blokes
Yeah.
will run out of legs, but your bigger blokes will never get smaller. You
Yeah.
know, their bodies are always going to win out in a tight contest, and that's what it started to be in that fourth quarter. We just didn't have the bodies for it, and we got bullied, and it's deplorable. It's embarrassing.
Well, Rossi's put the blowtorch specifically on the mids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think, yeah,
Yeah, our poor bloody defenders. No wonder Kerno managed to get that one out the back because it was just going in so much.
I have no
Yeah.
problem with the defense after this
Oh,
game.
Oh,
no, they
no,
were an A
fantastic.
plus. Like
It's
Nasiah
always
again.
the midfield.
Yeah.
Just the blokes are god.
Nasiah was great. Wilkie
He's the
was great.
Messiah.
Josh Battle quietly supported Wilkie brilliantly.
Battle's
Yeah.
first half
He
was
knew when
awesome.
to go
It
and
was.
just duck in
Yeah.
front of Kerno and get the clunk.
Yeah.
And he did that 8 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great game. And he used the ball well.
He did.
That's a
He did,
bonus.
yeah.
He didn't miss
Yeah.
a target.
Yeah.
We know Webster went well. Yeah, we couldn't
Yeah.
have done much more. I thought Zane Cordy did a couple
Yeah,
of nice
I
things.
didn't mind.
He didn't
Cordy.
do
No.
a lot, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
He played his role. I
He did
think
his role.
you know he's
Just another
coming off at
tall
the end of
option.
it. He's like, yeah, tick, tick, tick. I've done
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I've been brought into the
It's-
team to do.
And we said this preseason. We know the midfield. It's the midfield that separates us from
Yeah.
these
Where
teams.
we wanna
We just
go,
can't
yeah.
go to that level unless we have a midfield that can go there.
Yeah.
We just can't do it.
And
So
then we do seem to have one in Machete Owens, but he gets dragged out of
Yeah.
there. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's like, come on.
And he had 20. I mean, 9 in the first term.
yeah.
People say, "Oh, Jakey, come on, he can't play a full quarter in the guts." And I'm
Yeah.
like, I reckon he would have wanted to.
Oh yeah. I was
That's
going to
just
say.
the will to do it.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
would have found a way.
I wouldn't be surprised if next week he plays the whole game in the guts, and when he's being rested on the bench rather than being put up forward or something like that.
With
So,
Membry back, I think it helps. Yeah.
yeah. So,
All right.
anyway, we'll take a deep breath,
Deep breath, couple of sips.
like D-Mac lining up for goal. The big breath.
I
yeah.
miss D-Mac.
We miss D-Mac.
Miss you, Demo.
Alrighty, well, let's get stuck into some Jakey's junk mail.
Let's do it.
Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail.
Welcome back. Here we are. Let's rock and roll.
All right, these are all. There's a lot of essay type ones. So I'll do my best to get through
yeah,
as many
all
as I
right.
can. This one's from Tom. I think our issue might be our fitness, but not in the way you think. When we're scoring, we're 110% effort, absolute pressure, and non-stop defensive and transition running. It's beautiful, but it's genuinely the only way we ever score. We cannot score unless we are in our absolute maximum gear, and it is simply impossible to sustain that for the entire match. It just can't happen. We need to find ways to score outside of frenetic pressure and flat-out running, but we do not have the skills to do so. It results in absolute exhaustion by the end of it, with missed tackles, long bombs, and being outnumbered in all contests. This has now happened against Carlton, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Richmond. Melbourne, asterisks on it, because we had no bench, and I
Yeah.
thought we ran out the game as well as any team
Yeah.
could possibly do.
Who sent that through?
Tom.
That was Tom.
Oh, brilliant.
That
The rest of it, absolutely spot on.
has been one of-
that was as succinct as it gets.
Yeah, that was one of my favourite junk mails for the year.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was brilliant. Tommy.
Because
Good.
he's fucking nailed it. Oh,
Yeah.
excuse the French, but because you're just watching it in the last, we just don't do things easy.
No.
Nothing comes easy to this football club.
No.
Like, yeah. In the last quarter, you just like, we're not scoring.
Yeah.
I could not see us kicking a goal.
Yeah, and that's
And we
where you've got to
didn't.
admire teams like Melbourne who have come out of being in the same situation as us for 10 years
Yeah.
and just put in this beautiful system. And it's like, geez, I'd love to copy and paste that over to us.
But they always had that core midfield to just build around.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, yeah.
Not only did they have the mids,
Yeah.
they had a generational ruckman
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Gawn, and then they've got the key post down back.
Yeah,
Forward's
yeah.
always been their issue, but that's easy to fix.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like that system in terms of like their skill and everything like that to help them out when they are tired.
100%.
Oh, it's so good.
But we cannot go through another trade season and off season without really getting a gun mid somewhere.
there's no-
we
like-
need one.
You cannot reach a fitness level. It's impossible to be able to maintain that hectic
Yeah.
style of play for 4 quarters. It's impossible.
Well,
Yeah.
mate, you know that
I-
gun mid. Maybe this is where we start looking at Machado Owens a bit differently going into pre-season.
He's got to be that guy.
Yeah, I think he is that guy, and we like this was a surprise. Machado Owens coming out this year and being as good as he has been an absolute surprise packet. But that was off of half forward, so he's just been unlocking little lockets all year, going, yep, okay, I can do that. Yep, okay, I can do that. And now we're at this great position where we go, okay, well now we get to pick. You know, this is like having a Petrarca.
Yeah.
You know, they got to choose with Petrarca how they moulded. Oh, well, not moulded, but where they put him. And the fantastic thing about that is we know that Machado Owens can do what he is doing. He can go into the midfield and make a big difference. If we need him up forward for a full game, he can be up there and be that big difference as well. So he is going to be that X factor. So we need to start treating him like it. You know,
and
get ready.
Filippo as well. Like some of the his contest work
Yeah.
is just very mature.
Well, that
when his
left
body
foot-
catches up to what he
Yeah.
to his brain,
Yeah.
then you'd like to think Owens and him that's our Petrarca and what's his name?
Oliver.
That's
yeah.
that left foot that he hit up Higo in the first quarter was beautiful from,
Yeah, it was.
from Filippo.
It was.
Dodged a bloke and composed himself, and it was a great play.
Yeah.
This is from Chris. It seems in most of our losses, ball movement out of the back half is a major issue. I'm watching from overseas, so hoping you could help me understand why. I figure it's easier backs and mids not taking the game on, forwards not presenting, or opposition figuring out our patterns and stopping it. Which do you think? I think it's a bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, to me, on the weekend, it didn't look like transition ball was that bad when the ball was coming in and we got it out.
Yeah.
It was from kick-ins. It was still
Yeah.
from kick-ins where they really held us up. You know,
Because they allowed us to get that first sort of like 20-metre pass,
Oh, yeah.
but then the next one, you're just looking up and there's just a sea of blue.
yeah, correct. Yeah.
This one's from Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Port, Hawks, Tigers, D's, and Blues had 3 to 4 goal lead in all of these games and lost them. Conservative play. That is a big. Yeah, Port we had a good lead. Hawks we did. Tigers we did. D's we did, and Blues we did,
Yeah.
and we lost them all.
It's just about finding those gears in the last quarter because you're going to have a momentum sway both ways, but someone's going to have 2 and someone's going to have 1. So they're going to last 10 minutes each, and what you do with that momentum in the last quarter
And
is
that's-
so important. And
yeah.
we need to be the team that has the two
waves.
the two waves.
Because we had that against Hawthorn, didn't we? With the
Yeah,
first
yeah, we
quarter
did.
and last quarter.
Yeah.
They were our 2 waves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul's asking, could you see us trading up to pick 1 to get Harley Reid? Nah.
Jeez,
there's
we'd
no-
have to sell the.
We'd have to get rid of bloody Max King and
We'd have to get rid of
Yeah.
Steele
and King and-
Nah.
Nah.
No, we're not going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if we trade ourselves around to a top 10 pick, though.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to say it's going to be different for Ross this time, Ross Lyon, because when he came in the first time, he forgot about picks. He was like, the draft doesn't matter. How many top 10 picks did we have in Ross Lyon?
Not many.
No, I don't think. If any, like maybe we had.
And I suppose Ross came at a time when like it would be the worst to go to the draft because of the Gold Coast and
Yeah.
Giants. Because
Yeah,
when did
true.
they come in? Like 09?
Yeah, 09 and then
Yeah.
subsequently 2011. So
Yeah, true.
so that was bad. But That would have been a bad time to go to the draft, but we were chasing that premiership and we were just looking for top-ups. Like, we had the core,
Yeah,
we just
true.
needed the top-ups, whereas, like, it's a completely different situation now, and we've got the kids, but we don't have the core.
I reckon we're getting Liam Henry.
Liam Henry?
The Freo fella.
Yeah?
I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
that's happening.
All right.
I reckon that's happening. So I reckon we're trading for a young. I don't think we're going to go to the draft because it's not a mid-heavy draft coming up. But no. We'll have time to talk about the
Yeah,
off-season.
This is from Michael. Any tips for coping with painful losses? Barely slept and feeling broken-hearted.
I've got a good one.
Yeah.
Marshy, what do you got?
Because like radio shit, like music, like it's just like nah, like because
You're not in the mood.
you're not in the mood.
Nah,
but what you're always it's like going for a swim and the water's a little bit cold. Yeah, you dip your toe and you're ooh, but once you jump in, you make that plunge. You're like, sweet, this is nice.
Yeah.
Classical music. I listen to that I listened to that today. And it's nice. It's just a completely separate thing. It massages the brain, and it's got nothing to do with Saints footy.
I go and watch like a really, I guess, intense movie that kind of engrosses me. Like,
Yeah.
say, Interstellar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watch that, and it's basically you lose connection with reality.
You do, yeah. You get stuck into the
Because it's a
movie,
good
yeah.
3-hour movie. They're
Yeah.
in space as well. It's so
What's
intense.
been your go? Like what movie have you watched the most after a shit loss?
I don't know if I really watch much after a shit loss, to be honest.
Isn't that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, but that's what took you out
Well,
last. Yeah.
Interstellar, or like I watched The Dark Knight, or just a Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he really
Because he's got the
sucks in.
soundtrack as well, so sometimes
True.
I'll just listen to the
whole
Hans
Zimmer.
Zimmer.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Inception, Interstellar,
Okay.
Dunkirk, and The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Kind of my go-to.
Look,
I love it.
I'm pretty.
Christopher Nolan box set.
Yeah.
What do you do, Joycey?
I'm pretty lucky. Like, I've got a very good
He drinks
view.
his booze.
Oh, Jane, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what that song's all about. No, I've got a very, very good, I think, perspective of things, and I have no issue with paying credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
But despite everything that's gone on, I went to bed last night going, fuck, we let that one slip. It's not the worst I've been through, but if you said to me at the start of the year, you know, Carlton just missing out on the finals last year, you're coming up against Carlton twice, you'll win one, you'll lose one. I went, yep, that sounds about right. That sounds like we're neck and neck with Carlton. We won the first one and we lost the second one by very similar margins. And I go, okay, well, that means we're almost at the same point as Carlton there. So I'm actually going to more focus on the games around it. And which one's disappointed me more is what I think about. I go, okay, well, the Hawthorn one. That disappointed me more because I went at the start of the year, that's 2 wins against the bottom 3 side. Carlton's sitting 5th or whatever they're sitting now.
Yeah.
I'm okay if they bring
So
it.
as Sarah would say, that's a Wednesday thought, but Joycey's having it on a Monday. So good for you, Joycey.
There we go. Yeah.
Because honestly, I did not think we were going to win yesterday. I did not think we were going to win. I was looking at our run home. I go, well, I don't think we're beating Carlton, but I'm very confident we beat Richmond and Geelong.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
just how
I was the opposite. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
this week and Richmond get it done.
Yeah.
Free hit against the Cats and then just go berserk against Brisbane, whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Throw
loose
yourself
in
at
that
it.
game, play
Yeah.
a few different blokes, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought this. I still think we can win 2. Obviously,
Yeah.
I still think the run of beating Richmond and Cats is much more difficult than beating Carlton and Tigers. I think anyone would agree with that. It's Geelong.
I don't know. Well, I suppose if you go by form, Carlton are the form team.
They are. Yeah.
But I look at it and go, yeah,
the last
they've-
7 weeks, like
correct. But they had beaten. I mean, then I look at Port's form and Collingwood's form the last 2 weeks, and I'm thinking, well, you got them at a good time.
Yeah.
And then they beat the bottom 4 before that. So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
fair enough. They beat them well.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, given their outs as well, it's got to catch up to them at some point. They've
Yeah,
got to drop
true.
one. They're not going on a 14-game winning streak like what Collingwood did or
Yeah.
even Port.
Yeah.
I just
no,
thought
they're not invincible.
they're
but
not
like,
invincible.
yeah.
That's what I saw.
I think
Yeah.
I'm very quick to move on because I'm always excited
and only
about
because
the future.
And
know?
also because we've got
Like,
form against Carlton.
yeah, I know. I'm a misery guts the day after. I'll be sweet tomorrow. But,
Yeah, I'll be all right tomorrow, I
I'm
think.
still pissed off.
Let's get through a few more.
Well, I do
Anna-
feel like I'm a psychologist and I'm talking to a married couple here. Just the way it's set up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I don't know. We're pretty much on par with most things. But you compartmentalize it, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Good on you,
Yeah.
Joycey.
Whatever.
Sorry, boys.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, it must be nice.
This is from Anna. Let's keep going.
Yeah, right.
I'm sending here in case you feel like pondering. Yes, we feel like pondering.
Yeah, let's ponder.
Yesterday, leaving the stadium, I couldn't help but think about Riot's comments about standards being so low for so long. Do you think this is partially to blame for yesterday's crappy fourth? I don't think so. I don't think it's quite related. I don't think.
We can ponder or dig a little bit too deep, and it might just be a matter of the boys were spent and Carlton were going the other way.
Yeah.
I think we just got our pants pulled down, and
Yeah.
it's just didn't know what to do with it.
We did it to them earlier in the year.
Yeah, exactly right.
We pulled their pants down, ruined their party, and
Yeah, and the last one she mentions is, I might be imagining this, but it seems like the players get rattled by the umpires' crappy calls. A few games this year, I felt like they lost their composure after the umps gave a string of free kicks to the opposing team.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I've seen it go both ways.
Yeah, but
I've seen us
it
fight
does.
back.
But it does affect us because
Yeah.
it's just like, the Butler one, it was so shit.
Yeah.
And like, I know it's just one thing, but if in pure isolation, if that happens, then we get a goal just before half time.
28 points.
We're up and about,
Yeah.
and it's just there's such a minutiae of in-game moments, and we do seem to when it's same as like a dump kick that just kills our momentum.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with I think it does affect us. Is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at.
This one's from Sam. Can the club please kick opposition fans out of reserved seating areas? It's a joke.
It's a problem is people bring guests.
I mean, what can you do?
You're allowed to bring guests.
You
That's
can't.
fine.
Yeah.
The point is that if people are bringing guests and their guests misbehave, then that reflects on the person bringing them in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in the eye, we'll shock us, and a few people, they're, can we bring in some mates? And you see some Carlton jerseys, like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like this, but you know the drill. They're your responsibility,
Correct.
and to their credit, they were well behaved. They understood that it's a privilege for them to be in our area. Like, they haven't just gone and bought a ticket off Ticketmaster to go sit where they want.
Yeah.
They've been invited into what's the sanctum.
Yeah, I love the Carlton fan. There was a Carlton fan that messaged me during the week about the free tickets.
Oh,
But they're like, yeah, Carlton the Saints, mate, can I grab a ticket? And he had just followed Saints TV that day.
yeah.
I'm like, this is a bit sus. And then I checked Saints followers,
Yeah.
and he was top, so he had just followed the footy club as well.
Yeah.
And then I pressed him, and he's like, didn't give me an answer. And then I pressed him again. I'm like, mate, like, just fess up. He's like, yeah, mate, yeah, I'm a blue. I'm like, well, fucking get stuff then.
Yeah,
and the lady at training.
Yeah, it's so cheeky.
Oh,
asking
God.
for a free ticket. And
And-
we're like,
That's weird, but also being at bloody RSEA, like, because the coffee's good apparently.
yeah, like,
so
good on
she's
her
in
for
the
like,
area.
giving us the cash.
I mean, I get it. Icon
Yeah.
Park's not beautiful, but yeah, like, go somewhere else.
Oh, just the cheek asking for
I
a
know.
free ticket. Like,
Yeah,
go
jog
bother
on.
your own mob.
That's it.
Like, we're happy to help out
Scabs.
Saners where we can.
Yeah.
Like, but blue baggers, get stuffed.
Last people I'm going to help out.
Yeah, exactly.
Lastly, wish it was a nice one to end on, but Mitchell says, boys, is it embarrassing to say as a 24-year-old, I cried after the game yesterday. Hashtag-
24, what a baby.
Hashtag-
Like, not a baby because he cried, but
yeah.
he's just young. He's young.
Hashtag-
He's young in Saints footy years.
Hashtag Jay Hayes.
Oh, Jay
He really wants Jack Hayes back.
yeah.
So, 24. How long ago was 2009 and 10? So
14.
that's 13. So
Yeah,
how
13,
old would he have
14.
been then?
Would have been 12, 11, 12.
Oh, that would have been, yeah.
Wouldn't have got it.
Yeah, high school would have been hard for him.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you went
true.
if you went high
Yeah.
school in Geelong, mate.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you didn't,
that was
mate.
you. But at
But
least,
at least, no,
Nah.
but when we were in
making
high
finals.
school, we were making finals. We were
Yeah.
dominant without winning the thing.
Yeah.
But imagine like coming up in that
Yeah.
person's demographic,
Yeah.
and you're just shit.
Yeah.
Your whole high school, Saints are shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Shocking.
sucks. Like
Yeah.
so. Now that
I would've copped less shit at
the light
Geelong,
at the
though.
end of the tunnel is it's getting brighter, and that was just a big emotional letdown yesterday.
It was,
so
yeah.
fair cop.
Because it was a big pump up, 22 points up at halftime. It was a big pump up. We were ready to go.
And we turned up, and like Jake
Yeah.
said, that drop off, that off the cliff was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a hard one to swallow. And because it's Carlton, they make it worse. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you shed some tears, then, fair cop, because
Yeah.
it was bitterly disappointing.
It was.
All right, that's Jakey's sad mail this week.
Man.
Sob mail.
Tom has got the contender
Tom
for
was
best. That's the best one.
That
Yeah,
was
that
actually
was so good.
There were more there, but they were all pretty much what Tom had mentioned.
Okay.
He'd
which
summarised
was
it,
our
yeah.
game plan, unsustainable. We
He
can't
gave
keep
it the
that
saintly
energy.
nutshell.
You
That
can't
was-
go at 270 pressure gauge or rating, whatever it might have been for
Yeah.
a whole game.
And that was kind of like 09, wasn't it? In that we would just obliterate a team.
Oh,
In
just
one
choke 'em,
quarter,
yeah.
we just put them to the sword, and then the rest of the game is just
Manage.
managing it.
Yeah.
But we had
So
but when we
true.
were on top in those games, you're not 22 up.
No,
You're
No.
70
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
that's right.
And that's
right.
the key is like Carlton's 10-minute blitz
Yeah.
did more damage on the scoreboard than our whole first half when you
Yeah.
think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they
We needed to
maximised
be
it. We don't know how to do that.
another couple of goals up, and it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
Like 34 points, a long way to come back from, but
Especially against a Ross Lyon-led team where
Yeah,
we still
yeah.
only allowed them 73 points. And you're like,
yeah.
again, for most teams, conceding less than 75 points,
Yeah.
you're in a game. You're winning.
Definitely.
You could
Yeah.
be in a chance of winning. And
Definitely.
One more thing I want to mention as well
yeah.
is it is always at this stage of the season that Jack Higgins gets the jitters in front of goals.
1-2-3 last week and 1-3.
2-4 last
2-4
week.
and then
1-3 this week.
Yeah.
You flip
And
that,
they
that's
were
party
gettable.
time. Yeah,
they
definitely.
were very gettable.
That poster on the left
know.
foot.
That-
If
that
I was
pulled
ready
up.
to get
Yeah,
up,
that
that
was-
was massive. That moment.
yeah,
That was-
that happened at our end, and Dad and I were like, oh,
Bang.
oh.
Right on the bottom.
Yeah.
So
That was so deflating.
Because that
Yeah.
was, I think, just before they had hit the front, or just after.
that was in the third quarter.
Was that in the third?
I believe. Oh no,
No,
that
that
was
was
in
the
the fourth.
last.
Yeah, it was in the last quarter. Yeah.
I think that was to put us just to get that extra goal clear.
Clear, yeah.
And then their run hit right after
Yeah.
that. So it's amazing margins.
So many what ifs in that game.
That's it.
But yeah.
Anyway.
And also, I know it costs a bit of extra dosh for the club, but I used to get tips from my mate. I think we've gone off on this camera. That's all right. But I used to get a little tip from my mate who worked at the AFL. Saints have booked in goal kicking at Marvel this week. And in the time that he worked there, for that 6 months, they did it once. Needs to happen more often, because did you see the conditions on Friday when the boys were having pot shots at the family day? The wind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting a Marvel experience at Moorabbin.
No.
It needs to happen more regularly.
Do you want to come here, Joycey?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think, we're going to crack
come-
into
yeah,
the...
come join. You haven't-
I'll
you
come
haven't
join
joined
us.
us on
All
the
right.
couch for a
If you
while.
can go rogue, we'll just
I'll
jump
go
into the
rogue.
Richmond game now. What do you reckon?
Yeah,
Let's just get it done. I'm starving, boys.
All right, fire
We
away,
got the
Jakey.
Tillies on. We got the Tillies on tonight.
Yep.
I
we
don't
got?
think my ticket can handle a Tillies loss tonight. I need them to make me feel good about Saints footy. Steph Catley, go berserk.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
Joyce is
try and
gonna
stretch
join us
it
on the
around,
couch.
See if it
Yeah, they're
comes
very rare for
There
that.
we
We're just
go.
talking
There
up
we
that
go.
camera off
There
air
we
and
go.
saying
I'll
how
just
it's
get my nice
reliable.
little beer.
And then
Old
just-
faithful.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
right.
last
Old
quarter there,
Faithfuls.
isn't it? Out of the
It's on the
blue,
old
just
SD
shits
card.
the bed.
There we go.
What do we got?
Why do I feel
Sunday.
sad?
Yeah, this is the sad couch.
What do we got? Sunday, 3:20, same time slot, same
Yeah.
venue, different team.
So, yeah, spot on. And a team that will throw pressure at us. We know that Richmond are going to go hard, because
Yeah,
they always do.
And they got pantsed by the doggies.
They got pants by the doggies. They don't like that. They got,
Cochin could be back.
yeah,
I heard, yeah.
yeah. So it's going to be a tough one. How about Dusty?
I don't know. Did he play on?
What Dusty doing?
I don't know.
Yeah,
if he
he'll come
plays,
back.
put
He was
Machito on him.
rested.
He was rested.
Yeah, he'll play, and put
Grimes
Machito
was
on him in the
rested.
guts. Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Is this-
We just want to see a bit of control. Like, we want to see that second quarter pressure that we brought, because that'll do them in. They won't like that as much as as much as Carlton did, but that'll do them in. And we've just got to put it on the board. 8 goals for a game is not good enough.
No.
1 goal, 3.5.
In a half
Is
is
not
just
good enough.
that is
That's-
stupid numbers.
I can't
And
believe
as I
that.
was saying on podcasts before, that we are coming in nearly every week or every second week with a new forward line, and every time we do, it stuffs us up. Mm-hmm. You know, having King back stuffed us up because all of a sudden we've got a different looking forward line. We kicked 19 goals last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've kicked less than half of that this week.
And I think a lot of them were in general play, kicking it long, but then roving it in the first quarter last week, you know?
Yeah, but there was also
clunking.
more lead-ups.
True.
There was more, you know...
Sharman.
It was Sharman and
opening
Caminiti
it
getting
up.
up. And yeah, so it was just... Every time that someone like King or Membry or anyone comes back into that forward line, the dynamic changes, and we're getting too close to the pointy end of the season for the dynamic to change that much. So hopefully King being back in is like hopefully a good thing coming into his second week. But, you know, we're coming up against another bloke that loves taking an intercept mark, and he's leading it this year in Noah Bolter. So...
Yeah, and he gave King a bath earlier this season.
Yeah, he did. He gave him an absolute bath. And we've seen Kingy do it to him last year. But, you know, with the interruptions that Kingy's had...
Yeah. It just hasn't been his year, the poor fella.
Yeah. Yeah. But and he's been like a last quarter player as well.
Yeah.
Like, so many times last year, he'd come out in the third or fourth quarter, kick 3 or 4 in the quarter, and we'd
That's the
go
game.
on from there.
Yeah.
And that's what he did against Richmond last year. But he hasn't got the fitness in him right now to do so.
Yeah.
No.
So...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if we bring in Skunk.
Almost
how that looks.
what I would nearly like is that, all right, King, if he's not 4 quarters fit, then make him the
Imagine
tactical
he's the
sub.
sub. That'd be a nice sub in the fourth. Put him deep out of the square and go, do not move.
I think that the thing with the sub, though, is like you want it to be someone that can play at either end. And we made the mistake.
That's what I mean. I reckon Membry would be the perfect sub.
I'm with you.
Yep.
I reckon
Okay.
Membry would be the
And
perfect
that's where
sub.
I thought JB would have been the good sub last week.
Yeah.
Is that if we really needed him to, he could have played off halfback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So, anyway.
We're just gonna bring what we brought in that first half. I mean, bottle that,
Yeah.
bring that again, and that should be enough. We're favourites.
Yeah.
We're expected to win this one.
Oh,
That's a scary proposition,
good.
isn't
that
it?
was very strange.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And they
Probably
do.
the last game this year. We're favourites, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Got to maximise it now,
Yeah. So we need an upset, and we need to win this one.
and we want Geelong to lose this week, whoever they're playing, because that just keeps them at bay.
Who are they playing this week?
I've got no idea. I don't think it's an easy one. Carlton's got Melbourne, so we want Melbourne to
Yeah.
do the chocolates.
I'll be the true man with the stats
You got the
here.
true man.
Yeah, I'll be the true man. So,
How quick are you? You got it?
Yeah, Carlton Melbourne's going to be an awesome game.
well, yeah,
I'm gonna
there
watch
you
it.
go. They're playing Collingwood.
Yeah, that's a big
So,
one.
yibbity yibbita.
At the G.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, if they get up on that, they're going to come into our game full of
Full of
having
beans.
beaten Port and
Yeah.
then Collingwood.
But surely Collingwood don't.
That's what Carlton did. Beat Port and Collingwood and then came up against us.
Yeah,
Just
surely
have that
Collingwood
extra
don't lose 3 in a row. As nice as that would be,
Yeah.
I can't see it
It's just
happening.
see how they go without Dacos, I suppose. But that's them. That's their problem. We've got to get
Yeah, that's right.
got to get the job done on Sunday, boys. Get a big crowd. Get in the cheer squad.
Yeah, for
Home
once,
game.
The destiny is in our hands, and
games, that's
typically it's not. Come this time of the year for Saners in the last however long, it's always been relying on others. But this is firmly in our midst, and mate, get the chockies. Just get the job done. I'd love to see that.
That's what we need. That's the motto going into the week is get
Yeah.
the job done.
Yeah, don't care how you do it. Just
4
come away with
points.
the big W.
We just need 8 points.
Yeah.
That's it.
8 points and we're in finals.
That's it.
2 more W's.
2 more W's.
Richmond, Geelong, Brisbane.
And-
You'd hate to get to the last round and have,
I did.
have to win against Brisbane, and then we get up against Brisbane, and then GWS and Carlton play off as the last game of the round. Like, imagine just sitting there hanging on
That's
a
why
loss,
they put
a
it
GWS
there,
loss.
just for us.
Oh, that'd be
they
so
put it at
great.
6:10 on the Sunday night, just for Saints fans. But you know what? I did the squiggle last night. I've never done it all year.
Squiggo.
Yeah.
And I should have written it down, but there was a way where we could only beat Richmond and still make it. We could make it with 12 wins. I found a way. That is possible.
Did someone blow up Giants Stadium or?
No, I can't. There weren't any
do that
crazy
in
amounts of upsets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a way that I did it. I'll try and do it during the week and write it
Unforeseen
down.
broken legs at different clubs.
Yeah. Nah, there was a way.
Tonya?
I'm just saying, it is
But,
possible
yeah,
mathematically
we-
to have 12, but we don't want to get there.
We don't. We just want to do things simple for once. Just get it done, and we're just cruising. I just want to cruise into. I'd love to
I want
make
to go
finals.
to the Gabba and just be like, yeah, well, we're playing in 2 weeks' time. How good would that be?
That'd be so nice to be up in Brisbane in
Sunny
nice
day,
warm weather.
doesn't
knowing
matter
that
about
we're
the
playing
result.
finals?
Knowing that we're playing finals.
Yeah, that'd be choice.
That's the
Yeah.
dream.
Just having a celebratory beer after the siren goes, no matter the result.
Yeah, you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
because you're settled.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, you're content.
That'd be
It's all
okay.
about
We've come up with a dream.
Yeah, it's just about who do we play. But anyway, that's in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Reality is Sunday.
Got to take it week by
We
week.
don't win Sunday. We're not.
4 quarters, 100%.
That's it. Yeah, pretty
Credit
much.
to the boys.
I don't care about 4 quarters, to be honest.
Yeah.
Have one good quarter like Carlton, kick 10 and get the game done. See you later.
That'd be nice.
That would be good. Imagine if we came out and kicked 9 again in the first quarter, like they had that done to them last week by the Bullies. So I reckon be prepared, Sainers, because the flood's coming. Richmond are absolutely 100% bringing the flood, because if they know that their midfield's down in the first quarter and they're going to have another first quarter like they did against the Bulldogs, they will put all 18 players plus a sub.
Are they parking the bus?
They're parking the bus, mate. So I'm prepared for that.
Yeah.
And Sainers need to be prepared for that as well, because we got to find a way around it. Chip it around the 50, find the best entry point and
be
take
smart.
it.
That's
Just
it.
be smart. It's like going around to the food vendors on level 1. You know, you've got to pick the best option, because some of them, the line's just too long.
Yeah.
But then...
You just go 20 meters down the road and you access, baby.
That's it. Yeah. Sometimes you have to go back up to level 2 and find something quieter up there.
Have you guys been to the future bar?
What's the one where you tap your card and off you go. Yeah, how's that? I was a bit scared by it, actually.
Yeah, there's a few skeptics amongst just thinking that it's just big government trying to get you. But I just want to know how to like clock it so that it doesn't know what you're taking.
Yeah, how do we get around it? How do we get around the Saints fans?
If anyone knows how we can get
this?
free beers at the Future Bar, I'd love to crack the code.
Drink them before you leave.
Put it back. Or imagine maybe if you like walk out backwards, like maybe that just like frazzles the little chat
You're in
BT, whatever it
reverse,
is.
yeah. All right, I think we're done, boys.
Take your card.
I've got a minute.
Yeah, you got a minute?
Okay, I'll
Get into the bloody minute.
no, I've got to queue it up.
Oh, you got to queue it up.
Oh, sorry, I stood on your shoes there.
you're right,
Let me buffer that out for you.
You're right, mate.
We can just sing it.
I don't really know the words.
Marshy's minute.
All right,
Marshy's
get
minute.
ready, Sainers.
Oh, here we go. Got my stone.
Get ready
Here we
for
go.
Marshy's Minute.
Marshy's minute. Marshy's minute. Marshy's minute. Marshy's minute.
Yeah, righty. So I got a call today from Lisa in the cheer squad, and she's got business to attend to this weekend against Richmond. So essentially, I'm going down to put in at least a quarter shift. I'll start the game in the cheer squad and sort of help them out in there, you know. But anyone listening, there are a few seats in the cheer squad. If you want to come lend your pipes, send us a message on aisle 29. I'll be able to get you down there with us and, help set the tone, because we know Richmond, they are a very loud supporter base, so we want to do the right thing at home. And Lisa, let's be honest, we need about 10 Sainers to replace her, because she's that loud. So I would love for... people who are keen, because it was such a hoot, big success against Hawthorn.
Yeah, it was.
So people who are keen to really get a little bit active, come on, get on down.
Question, just in terms of tickets,
Yep.
how do we organise that? Is that the same as last time, or is the club organising anything?
So it'll be more... There's always a few seats in the area, so basically we'll get you with some GA action. I don't know.
Does general admission get you into the cheer squad?
Nah, but we can sneak you in, so to speak.
Okay.
That, we'll get you down there. We've got some tickets. So it's more just if people are going to the game and they want to come help make some noise, then message me and we'll work out the logistics and get you in there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, he's recording, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, and without further ado, I reckon we'll wrap it up there. It's been a
been a
fantastic little
long
episode. It's been a long. It's
episode.
been ups and
I feel
downs,
better
hasn't it,
now.
boys?
I feel better
Yeah,
now.
me
You feel
too.
better?
I feel
Yeah,
better
you're
when
going to
I
wake
eat.
up tomorrow, not going to have the sads.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna wake up when I need to wake up. Not waking up at 4 in the morning.
So you're not going to have any classical music going. What are you going to have going?
Ish.
Beautiful.
Need
Alrighty,
that.
boys.
Pump that. I need it.
Go Saints.
Go Saints. Where's the... You got the lighter?
I'd love to get this going at a game one day. One day this channel go up.
They should play this after we walk off the ground after a win.
Yeah, imagine that. 100%.